Hello, my name is Margaret Fountain Coleman, and I teach for Yonkers Public Schools in Yonkers, New York, and I am a NYSUT member. Presently, I work for Yonkers Public Schools as a special education teacher on the elementary level. I am a first-generation educator, and I am proud to engage the minds of young people. My story is like many who may be transplants here in the great state of New York. I grew up in rural Virginia and attended public schools K through 12. I was the first class to integrate the elementary school in the early 1970s. We only had one middle school and one high school. My graduating class was over 300 young people. To date, there still remains only one middle school and one high school. I never realized that race and racism was a construct or a thought. It wasn't until the movie Roots came out that being black had its own message for me as an American. I never heard the N word until the movie. And then one day in seventh grade, one of my classmates called me the word. And trust me, the boy who called me that got a shellacking. Growing up in my hometown, black and whites coexisted. It wasn't until I went to undergraduate school that I developed a real understanding about my blackness. I wanted to engage my blackness. I wanted to absorb everything I could to find, to read, to experience, to figure out who I was as a black woman in America. Being a black teacher in America is a multifaceted, multi-dynamic career choice. I believe that we who are educators should bring our personal awareness of self into teaching. I believe that being an educator is the single most important career choice an individual could make. Teaching, in my opinion, is a calling, and one has to be ready to be entrenched in the nuances that shape the minds of children. As I think about Black history this year in light of the pandemic of COVID, as well as the social unrest as it relates to race and racism, we as educators have a duty to get the narrative straight. I believe we have to be the conduit of educational prowess that brings the authenticity of our current state of affairs into the classroom. We have to lean in educating the whole child or young person. I have committed over the years in not allowing February to be the only time to highlight the Black excellence that we have that bears out here in America. I attempt to weave in the history often. So by the time my students get to February, it is designated as a time of celebrating the history of those pioneers we have discussed in our classroom throughout the first 5 months of school. Instilling in our students, instilling into the young minds that I'm blessed to educate, that Black history is America's history, and that February only designates a time that we celebrate. Thank you for listening, and if you're ever in Yonkers, stop by School 5. Have a wonderful day.